So what's up everyone, this is the last video of the Voron build series when I'm gonna fix my zoom and when I'm gonna finish up the wiring and install the panels. As you see, during the last day I've been checking installing the software, I've been checking the printer. It really works and it really prints okay. I need to do some minor adjustments, but at least all the motors are going in the right directions. I had to swap these two connectors because somehow my A and B motors were swapped. Nevertheless, the goal of this video is to finish up the wiring and to finish up the panels, and before I come to the wiring, I want to see how long this part should be, so whether it should be long or should be short. To find that, I need to assemble the top head, put it over and see if, well, this won't be touching the top of the printer all the time. So, top head. I couldn't get my top head to print on 2.4 in one piece, so I printed these 4 pieces, and before I start assembling that I need to pre-install 4 threaded inserts in each piece. Nope. Yes. Maybe. Nope. And no. Okay, so this is the top head panel. These things should be assembled using 8mm screws, M3 8mm screws. And I think as this edge should be, well, still protruding a bit, I should also install the side panels. Otherwise I'll have to push them, which won't contribute to the security and safety. This is harder than I thought because you are just balancing all the time, making sure that the pieces don't fall out of the respective placements. So the problem here might be because Formbot is using 3mm sheets and this particular part is printed and designed using 2.4mm sheet. This is why I basically can't put any fixtures on while keeping the acrylic part inside, because it just gets pushed out. Not with the 18mm screws to show for that. And I don't have enough 10mm screws. Well, at least I don't have 10mm screws in the kit. But I have my treasure box right here, so suppose I can get enough 10mm screws to try to assemble it all. Of course they do look uglier than Voron was expected, but guys, this is what happens when you are picking some very strange thickness like 2.5mm, 2.3mm or something like that. I present my ugly top hat project. 10mm screws, bad printing quality, everything as you like it. With these braces done, we have to install 4 more braces, which are corner braces. This should be installed using 12mm screws. Let's see if 12mm screws are long enough to work with the 3mm acrylic panels. Most probably not, so I'll have to use 40mm or similar screws. However, you know it works. So this becomes somehow rigged. Final top head part are the hinges, which should be fixed again with 12mm screws. Finished head. And with the head in place, I will slowly turn the printer around and see how far I can stretch this part, so I can know how long or how deep should I put it into the printer case. I suppose that deep, somewhere here. I will adjust it using the PFT tube. So this is about it. This is about the length that I need, so the wires are not touching the top head all the time. I have this pretty sock-like thingy which is meant to hose all the wires and PFT tube, which I'm not going to use. This is pretty, but I have to drag all the wires through with all the connectors, and then if I need to replace one wire, then I need to spend 3 hours to remove it and then put it back, and that's low maintenance design solution. Instead of that, I will be using this spring wrap, which is cheap and simple to remove if needed. I should have one nut in this particular profile to install the cable retainer, which is this piece, well, which is just sits here and allows to put couple zip ties over the cables. I'm not sure if I installed it. Ah, here it is. Whoops. So yeah, another 10mm screws, and have another anchor point for more zip ties. Finally, let's install this plate. On one side it has a cut for the that's why end stop mount. On another side it should click over the retainer, so something like that. It should be secured using two 6mm screws, which are fixed using the threaded inserts on the bottom of the ABE motor units. It's about time to clean up the mess I'm having here, so yeah, wear management in a finger click. Okay, this looks cleaner already. By the way, don't forget that this is a bottomless printer, there is no bottom panel. So you have this special thingy which will cover your high voltage connectors, so you don't grab them when you're moving the printer. And yes, it's also a bit cleaner here, well, clean enough to see where the wires actually go. Next part, panels. Let's start with the back panel. Voron, of course, has this weird idea of putting a ton of VHB tape everywhere. I'm not even sure that this amount of VHB tape will help. And of course, after that we will have another exercise of aligning and matching the nuts. So 4 holes, 4 nuts, 4 holes, 4 nuts. 6 8mm screws in these holes and 2 6mm screws here. Sorry. This piece, it shouldn't be present here because here will be the spool holder. Same boring procedure for the right side panel, with the little details that the right side panel should have these 2 pieces which have the hinges. You want the door to be openable and closable after all. And all this beauty is attached using 8mm screws everywhere. Some nuts and some 8mm screws, and this is already getting boring. As for the front panel, Voron developers offered to secure it only with VHB tape, and well, I'm generally curious when they get this kind of VHB tapes that can hold a part this big. Nevertheless, let's try it. Well, anyway, I can super glue it afterwards. Okay, this might work for a couple days. This should be secured using 2 screws. One 25mm on the bottom and one 40mm on the top. Next thing, 3 and 6 magnets, 3mm to 6mm magnets, which you should install in the handle. And as you see, I'm installing them like this, so they retain their polarity. And I'm having a piece of VHB tape ready, so I can glue it over the magnets, otherwise they will try to jump out. Double checking the polarity and installing 2 more. So yeah, you're not assembling, you're gluing together a printer. Yay! The counterpart of the handle are these 2 parts, which has holes when you put the magnets in, and then you just screw them on the extrusion like this, so they can work together with the handle. I'm checking the polarity and I'm getting the magnets from the opposite side. So one here, second here. So when I put the handle, they click together. These small pieces here are fit using 2.8mm screws. So with these pieces fixed, I can just close the door and glue the handle on top of them. The one and only remaining part is skirts. Here we go. Well, one of the final cosmetic pieces is skirt insulation. You know what, I will not comment a lot on that. You just need to align the screws, use 6mm screws, a decent ball head hex key, so you get into these tight places. That's basically it, you just put them on. Oh, spool holder. Spool holder. First of all, before I'm doing the spool holder, I have to cut 2 pieces of PFTA tube. So I do have enough of length here, but cut one. And cut 2. The spool holder should be fitted to the one remaining nut here with the help of 12mm screw. I'm not sure if this is enough to fit a full-size spool, however. Let me take a spool and check it. However, I would lift it a bit. Like a couple of millimeters. It won't be pretty and symmetrical, but it would work much better if it will be located somewhere here. That's better. At this point, I suppose I can cut the PTFE tube here and call it a day. Or in my case, a late evening. So this is it. One more Voron 0 joined the Voron team, or crowd, or pack. Yeah, pack. And thanks a ton if you watch this series of videos, and I'm glad if it helped you to build yours. See you!